Thank you. Butoshi, the young king. If you guys don't know, this MFer is destroying Ordinals. He's got a killer Ordinals project. He's got an AI chatbot. Every single time an Ordinal project comes out, he's like, oh, I got a couple. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you didn't get them? Okay, whoops. It's driving me crazy here.
Oh, it's because it's fun to collect all of them. Like, you just, man, it's like, inscribe this. I'm like, okay.
Okay, cool. Guess what? None of us are getting in here. How are you? What are you working on next?
Can you put the thing of the Twitter, the Ordinal chatbot? So one of the things
I can't because you're a filling in a spot.
So, wait.
Sorry, whoops. You got it. Search Butoshi.
Okay,
there we go. There we go. Got it.
Oh, I thought okay. So I made the Ordinal chatbot. It's basically
silence. There you go.
So I just recently developed the Ordinals chatbot. It's basically a chat GPT bot, but it's trained on everything Ordinals. So you hear Ordinal motherfuckers talk about whatever complicated technical topics. Ask the chatbot. You got an instant question. Now you're in the know. Now you can tune in and fight with us more because we need more content. Run it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Super excited. For the first time on the show, all the way from Dubai, here to, I don't know, make some Web3 boys cry and talk about a bunch of different stuff here. We have Mika, Rug Radio creator, CCO, OD Labs, XR Tech Company. We got buckets in the house. We have a bunch of OD Labs people that we love here. How are you? What's going on?
Wait, let's get the woos. Woo! I heard like one like.
There we go. You intimidate them.
I'm like, whoa. Actually, it's so good to be back. I mean, like, I feel like the last time I was here for the first Bored Ape Yacht Club event at Venice at Bright Moments. That's some OG stuff. You remember. JR remember. Everybody remembers. All the OGs remember. You remember.
Oh, I remember. I'm in the photo. That's all that matters. If you look at the classic photo, I'm in it. Okay, that's all.
Yeah, that was like, but that birthed this, so we got to represent today, and yeah, and look at where we are right now. So you know what, a lot can change, but yeah, that's some OG stuff. Feels good to be back. Beautiful.
Excited for some beautiful opinions. Lovely. And back on the panel again, if you guys don't know, honestly, we call him the most interesting man in Web3 for a reason. I mean, while you guys were trying to flip Nike Dunk, this man was claiming CryptoPunks. Cartoonish collection, one of the most interesting people I know. OG of OGs, Tony Herrera. How are you here?
Woo! I'm fabulous. I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me.
You always are doing awesome. That's your life. Your life is awesome.
Somebody asked me, have I been on the panel before?
Yes, you have. You were on one. Yes, you are. You sat on the very end right there. It was maybe, I would say, 5 months ago. I'll pull up the video.
Okay,
My life would be awesome
I was
too
trying to
if I
remember.
He doesn't even remember.
CryptoPunks.
I was on the panel. Oh, I didn't remember.
No,
I do a lot of panels and
Somebody asked
shows.
me, and I'm like, yeah.
Well, I did.
Okay, yeah. I was in the front row.
Yeah, and you and Adventurine were wearing.
Adventurine on the front row, but I was just trying to remember whether I was actually on the panel. But anyways, thank you.
And you wore a fez. I just want to say that. Like, you wore a fez, and that was amazing.
Beautiful. Okay, well, Tony, it's so fun to talk to someone who's actually so OG. We see so many, like, new things coming out. Everyone's like, we have a new innovative idea we've never heard of. And then Tony comes in, and he's like, okay, not quite. And so we'll get into that tonight. Last but definitely not least here, one of the hardest working people I know in all of Web3. If you guys don't know, Forgotten Rune Wizard Gold is like the only project that delivers things, honestly. Like, I mean, we've got comics, we've got games people play, we have actual, like, dude, look at this. We got stuffed animals that are going crazy. They're going after Disney. It's wild. Bear Snake, how are you? What's going on?
So happy to be here. Hi. Yeah, here. I love it. This is my lifeblood. I'm so happy to see Twitter timeline IRL.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
Okay, beautiful. Before we get into it, I have to show them for one more time. Because if you guys don't know, Shadow Hats is releasing in a couple of weeks, which is, listen, Ordinals, under 100K, under 10K. It's under 1K. They have a collection under 1K. We have done this meetup every single week for a year and a half. He stood up in the back the first week of Ordinals and said, listen to me, motherfuckers. Ordinals are coming. And then he minted under 1K. And then we all went home and said, sure, Bear Snake. And then 2 months later, we said, what the fuck? We fucked up here. So super excited. Give us any info about how we could,
Next week, the week after, a lot of fun stuff happening. And so, we're trying to sort of be the case study for how an ETH project eloquently moves into Bitcoin. So
beautiful.
I think it's gonna be fun.
Also, before we get formally in, if anyone is standing right there, we do have a couple more seats upstairs, hopefully, so you can go to these stairs here. Hopefully, we won't get too busy. It's a packed night here. Okay. All right, let's just start with the drama, okay? Because Tony, thank you so much. You did your job here. Patrick's usually in the seat. He's causing controversy in the timeline every day. You woke up. You chose some chaos here. you said that, hey, true punk and MFer projects don't do honoraries, which is obviously a direct shot of NodeMonkes who have been going crazy with the honoraries.
I think there's monkey. I actually purposely put monkey there. See?
Monkey, not monk. Yeah, you were trying to avoid the smoke, but guess what? You're getting it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I actually love the monkey. I love the NodeMonkey project. I think it's awesome that it's bringing people from Bitcoin into the art scene. So I'm happy for them. It's just like when I really started diving into it, and my timeline was filled with a bunch of people that are part of like the punk community and other ones, and I started seeing that they got honorary monkeys. I'm like, wait, what the fuck's going on? Sorry.
Oh wait. So you're saying OGs of the punk community got honoraries. You didn't, right? Right. And then now you're like honoraries aren't punk. Okay. It's my mission now to foot them, right? I didn't even realize it until because I started seeing like a lot of people that I respect were like, they're just souping them up. And mind you, I had, Big God had spoken to me about the project and proof of just towards the end of the year. And honestly, I'm admittedly, one of the things that happens when you're like in this space for a long time is that you sort of you can easily get blinders, right? So I've long been, in Ethereum, helped launch a bunch of projects on Ethereum. So, I pretty much breathe and live Ethereum and hadn't really looked at all the side chains and all the other chains. But I'm happy. I'm really super stoked that they're doing it. I just think that some of the times in this community, we're still like doing projects and it's like, oh, well, let me go off and get this person or this person because they're going to help me. But my whole thing is this, Gabe. When Bored Apes came out, they did honoraries.
They did.
And a bunch of people didn't even know. The people who got the honoraries didn't even realize till later. And then they realized Bored Apes Moon. They went, oh, shit, I got an honorary. Right. Sell that shit. I didn't
know that at all. That was hidden.
Yeah, well, you gotta be an OG.
Yes, I'm not an OG.
gotta be an OG.
Hold on, I just feel like, are we over honorary? Like, it's just like, how are we still getting away with this?
It's because they're fun.
Are they fun?
Look, I have, okay.
But everybody,
I have my honorary.
Okay, stop. Butoshi just got his first honorary, right?
This is like one of my, I have like on my Apple Watch, I have a bunch of honoraries people make.
A bunch of honoraries? What the fuck is going on, dude? I have zero.
No, because like they're really special to me. It's like, hey, we connected in person. We respect each other's vibes. Like they.
What about the people that sell it though? Okay, what?
Oh no. If you sell an honorary, you're a pussy. Straight up. I'm saying.
TBT Nakamiko's.
Pussies, like why? Okay, no.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know what's happening with these. You need to fill me in. Are people selling these? I don't know.
People are selling these. People are making money. So I call them out.
They're selling their honoraries.
They're selling their honoraries for like 0.1 Bitcoin. And like I think it's such like a bitch move. Like why would you sell something made personalized to you? But like I think more.
Oh, I can tell you why.
But why would you buy it?
That's what I'm saying.
Like it is so lame to rock a different version of someone else's PFP. So also shame on anyone buying that shit.
Okay, so real quick, I actually do have.
Are we back to like buying shaming? Like
yeah,
we're
going
I don't
ever
buy
my project right now.
I don't ever buy shame, but I do think if you sell an honorary, then people on both sides of that deserve to be shamed.
Okay, so real quick, I actually have.
Let's shame everyone.
Only that. Only that.
So I have friends of shame. I have two friends who have bought. They have bought honorary apes that weren't theirs. I have two friends that have spent a lot of money. Why did they buy these honorary apes that they weren't theirs?
Because they're planning on being sim swappers.
Well, because they look at it and they say,
this is a lot of money. It's a one-on-one.
They're the rarest thing. They're rare, special things. They said, I like the aesthetics. Okay, so Batsu got an honorary. I like Batsu's aesthetic. I liked his NodeMonkey honorary. I was like, damn, that's kind of fire. Maybe better than other NodeMonkeys. Maybe you, like, I could see someone just saying they're more unique in one of one, and in 10 years, no one's going to care. Who the fuck is Batsu? I don't know, right? Who the fuck is Butoshi?
I don't know.
But maybe you, like, respect somebody or something, and you're just like, oh, that's sick. Like, I don't know. Who would I want, like, an honorary from?
So I will say one thing, and one, I would take any honoraries, and
Give Jen an honorary!
But I do think the way that it was rolled out with NodeMonkes, like, I literally, and a bunch of people know, I sold a bunch of ETH for Bitcoin. I was going to go all in on it. But I think messaging people that have never interacted with the Ordinals community, have absolutely no connection to the project, like, that ruins the vibe to me, right? And it brings in this entire flipper culture. And I honestly think it made it less cool.
Well, we need the
and
flipping
I understand.
culture.
You need this,
no, but I get that. But I think they were gonna have it anyway, right? But like, it just turns it into everything that I feel like being an OG Bitcoin collection shouldn't be.
Well, who decides what like an OG? Who decides anything? The cabal?
We are
I don't
here.
understand.
We're deciding in here.
No, but wait, but
What's
doesn't
trending
that,
on
but,
Twitter?
But I feel like a lot of people are like saying that, even like the Bitcoin people, and they're just like, or just everybody like, oh yeah, we shouldn't have these on Bitcoin, or like we shouldn't, or this is the way that Solana. I mean, like NFT should look on Solana. This is the way NFT should look on Ethereum. It's like, who became Web 2 gatekeepers?
Well,
I'm just wondering.
No, and I agree. This shit's permissionless. So even if I don't like something, it's not stopping anyone else from doing it, right? It's maybe stopping my decision from buying it. But like at the end of the day, permissionlessness, you can't stop anyone. But I do think it attracted a different crowd. And like, I don't know, this is not comparing projects. I think they're different, right? But like, there's this fight over like, what is the first 10K PFP on Bitcoin between like Frogs and NodeMonkes. And like, at the end of the day, Frogs onboarded so many people early when no one was doing it. And
Frogs
like,
are punk culture.
I think, yeah, like that culture to me personally is cooler. And I think that had they not just DM'd random ETH influencers, but like connected with people that actually like had shown interest to the community and not faded it, I'd feel different about it.
Okay, so we'll bear stack here.
I think we saw this in 2021. It's the same exact thing, but like with everything, in life, the timeline's just going to get shorter, right? So everything that people learned and worked in ETH is going to happen in Ordinals, but it's going to last like half as long. And which is fantastic because there was a lot of bad stuff. I also think in general, influencers are going to have less and less of an impact on projects and like financialization. I think influencers are going to be sidelined to talking about what's going on instead of sort of impacting a price or the hype of a mint.
Okay, so
We're promoting critical thinking. I love that.
so
I always am.
one quick like different thing about these derivatives like this. If I don't know about NodeMonkes and I know all these individual people, or a lot of them here, and I see the aesthetic of each one of these, I'm recognizing, oh, look there's Garga, there's Gordon, there's Batsu, you start getting familiar with what the collection looks like, and you start like liking the aesthetic of it overall because you see recognizable familiar things. And then when you see the generics, it's like, oh, cool, dude, I'm not Gordon, but I'm a normal one. Oh, I'm not
Gordon.
Scooby, look at Scooby.
Well,
you need to get an honorary.
So I have a question. The honoraries are not. I'm sorry, Troy, but are the honoraries part of the original collection?
No.
So they're a separate collection.
Okay, they're separate collection.
But
Okay.
people are still buying the separate collection.
But do they show them like I'm looking at Magic Eden? Do they show up in the same?
They do. They have the names of the honoraries. It's called NodeMonk honoraries. Like if you
But they
search-
show up in the same collection.
No, not the, it's yeah.
Yeah, separate. Separate.
I don't think there's really any. Really quick, there's no difference than people grabbing 500 ENS names of companies and other names and stuff like that, just in case stuff. You know what I mean? Like these have pictures and honoraries, and they may like die out.
People buy them as alpha,
but
though.
people are into patents and stuff like that. So like these have pictures, but ENS names, BTC names, they all have like people like to acquire things that the company didn't have, like
yeah,
getting
but that's like
Coca-Cola.
a squatting, right? That's like a yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
tomato, you know.
So,
Love tomatoes.
I love it.
I'm 90% sure about this. I just want to confirm. Didn't NodeMonkes initially market themselves as a free mint?
Yo, they marketed as a
Okay.
free mint, and they were gonna donate whitelist spots if you donated to charity. And then kind of said, nope, just kidding. We're doing a Dutch auction. by the way.
Buckets just
starting
tapped
at
the mic 'cause
point
he
Not
about
the
to go
Dutch
off.
auction.
Okay.
Whenever they switch
So-
to the Dutch, you know what I mean? Not the Dutch auction.
The reason why people are the conversation about honoraries is happening with NodeMonkes is because of the way that they rolled out everything else. So if you understand, if you remember the Nakamigos drama with the honoraries, the whole point of Nakamigos was like counterculture. A lot of people with the Sartoshi pass was able to mint Nakamigos, and it was all like this, CCO, like the counterculture, no founders, completely anon. And guess what? We're gonna give a honorary to G-Money. We're going to give an honorary to this person, and we're going to sell it for 10 ETH. The reason why there was a whole fight between the Nakamigos and the MFers community was because of that. MFers like, we have no fucking honoraries. We're the true CCO, decentralized motherfuckers out here, right? And guess what? Nakamigos, you guys are fake because you have honoraries. So the problem is that honoraries in general is just a concept that people use for marketing. Marketing is fine. Marketing tactics are 100% okay. The problem becomes is when you're infusing the honorary marketing model, and with your current rollout of marketing, you're kind of fucking yourself over, or you're fucking yourself in the process where you're actually gonna create this conversation. But the reason why people are mad right now with NodeMonkes is because they market themselves as a free mint, and now they went from being a free mint to a Dutch auction that with a separate collection that there's trading volume on based off of Honoraries. So that's why people are upset about it, in my opinion.
Okay, so real quick though, right now this marketing did work. So it made work. It fucking worked.
Having morals won't make you money, and I think it's important to remember that. Unfortunately,
What won't
in this
make us
space,
money?
I would love
Morals.
having morals doesn't always make you
we're in
money in this
crypto,
space.
of course.
We're in crypto, yeah.
Right.
How
For
did
the
we
casino.
get here?
We gotta change
okay,
it.
so it seems like there's two things. There's like if people are okay with an honorary, if you honor people who are actually part of the community. If you honor random influencers, we all get pissed.
It was really nice when they were honoring like everyone in the Ordinals community. And then they started honoring kind of like everybody, and I was like, well, I see why it's good marketing. Like,
So you got honored, and you were like, "This is great." And
Dude,
they
I
honor
thought-
someone else.
I
You go,
thought
"What the
I
fuck?"
still fine. No, I don't mean it like that, but I mean in specific, like just the way everything was rolled out. I mean, it's fantastic to me. Like, I love it. Like, bro, my favorite ETH influencers or just like other people I respect in the space, they're all getting honoraries. They're all representing basically Ordinals. And they're showing everybody, hey, I'm taking a step into Ordinals. This is a lot of ETH people's first mint or like first purchase on Ordinals. So...
I hate to be the idiot in the room, but can somebody explain to me the difference between honoraries and secondary sales functionally? Obviously, there's a structural difference, but the actual like.
Most
You're
NFT
not the idiot in the room. We need to ask more questions.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
nobody
please,
knows what
please,
they're
please.
talking
That's a
about.
good
Okay,
question.
give it up for her to ask a
There we
question.
go.
Okay.
So real quick, for a collection, right?
I don't even know what it
NodeMonkes,
means.
we're minting
Thank
random pieces, like random. Get a hash somewhere, a random piece. Honorary is saying, what is Butoshi's actual PFP? I'm going to design something in the collection that matches his PFP. What's Tony's PFP? Look at that punk right there. I'm going to make something that represents that punk for it. So they're individualized items. So if you do these and the person who's a big influencer is like, I got an individualized item, you got great marketing. However, if you're a dork who's like doesn't have enough clout and you're like, I want one, and you don't get one, and some random dude in Solana and ETH gets one, you're like, I thought it was an ordinal MF, you get pissed off.
So you
Wait,
can't.
Big God in the chat is saying the fact that Tony didn't get an honorary means the mint was rigged.
Yeah, that's true.
Facts.
That's true.
So you can't.
Tony. Okay.
You can't market enough to create culture. So the reason why everyone's like ribbit punk culture, right? Frogs, is because it was created. You create culture, you don't manufacture culture. So you could create and you can market tremendously to be the topic of conversation, to pump your floor, but sometimes creating this honorary system of like for the sake of marketing.
Oh shit. It's okay.
We're live.
Might
Things
lead you
happen.
to compromise on the culture aspect in exchange for the hype moment.
Yeah, so this is going on like a lot in Ordinal's world right now. It's funny because I'm on the outside just lurking them, an old ETH MFer, and they're like, we're doing something new, and I'm like, no, you're not. We did that back in the day. That's all I'm doing all day. But one thing we're seeing a lot is people talking like, what's real Ordinals and when are the posers coming in?
I think, but there's like a super important distinction with like what's happening with NodeMonkes and specifically. Like I've seen this couple takes in group chats where people are like, this allows Ethereum people who are coming to Ordinals to feel like they're still early in Ordinals because they're grabbing all this like market, and it is like a sub 100K historical project according to many in the space. So I just wanted to, I know it's funny as fuck, it's a number, whatever, but like that is the Ordinals culture that has formed since day one. Also, an interesting thing about the honoraries is like on Ethereum you have collections, but these are all inscriptions that go straight, inscriptions are all over the blockchain, so you could list these and people could sell them. They might still deem valuable because they're inscriptions at the end of the day. Like they're on.
Okay,
Did anyone answer your question? No. Let me explain. Okay, let me explain. So there's let's say an NFT collection, right? And there's certain traits of something, right? Like how much do you know about the traits?
Just keep talking.
Okay, all right. So basically, there's like collectibles, right? So let's say there's Pokemon cards. So there's like Pikachu and like all like the different characters. But imagine in the Pokemon cards, like a separate collection is like honoring like the Pokemon collectible community, and it's just like people could also trade that as well.
They're,
So it's
they're
like
custom,
honorary.
custom art based on
Custom art, yeah.
influencers.
Okay, so let me. So
Custom art based off of influencers, honoraries, like
and I
people that
feel
were a
you.
part of making the community stuff happen.
I suppose.
But you could trade
so,
them.
So coming from music NFTs to the extent that I did, the big wigs in that industry never talked about honoraries. They always talked about secondary sales, but functionally they seem to have a similar ring to it. That's the only reason why I asked, well, can somebody explain to me the difference functionally between honoraries and secondary sales? The way that consumers act.
Let me give it a shot. So in this particular collection, you have for punks, for instance, you have 10,000 collection, right? In this case, and somebody can correct me here, for Bored Apes when they got released, they had also 10,000, but they made honoraries of individuals who were influential in the community. So like G's and different individuals, Pranksky, different. I think it was at that time Art Chick.
Art Chick got one.
Yeah, who had followers?
Who had followers who could
Kobe
essentially promote, if you will,
where it gets controversial is when, let's say, you make a gift for somebody, like honoring them. It's like you get an award, but it's worth money because people like want it. So then there's this ethical kind of debate that I guess we're having right now. This little back and forth where it's like, is it ethical? Let's say somebody gives you a gift of like honoring your contribution to, let's say, tonight. Right? And that, gift is worth, I don't know, a couple $1,000 dollars.
$100,000.
Right? So it's like some people are like, okay, you're using my image, my IP, my like influential stuff to promote your collection. So let me sell that because it's worth money and we're all trying to eat. Like, why not? But then there's the other end where it's like, is it, you should maybe keep it. And
do you re-gift?
There's a
re-gift.
It's because it's made like it's literally you. Like that honorary is who you are.
But wait. NodeMonkes was a good example because back then when NodeMonkes the honors came out, a bunch of people were like, I don't. Thank you for the honorary. Who the fuck are you?
Right? Like
it's airdrop. They're like, okay, cool. Like I don't know who you are. So thank you. And then someone's like 5 ETH, and you're like,
but you should highlight that
so
too.
here's a good position. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you have essentially the Bored Apes here come up. Let's look at the activity to see. Like here's all the sales, right? It's like.
Are they a separate collection?
Yes,
they're a separate collection.
Totally
separate collection.
Also, real quick, actually, Rosamond, go back to the full collection and look at who recognizes these influencers. It's a fun game. Like Beanie's got one, right?
And it's for
Did Beanie sell his? Did Beanie sell his?
I think he did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But it's 20. It's selling. Well, let's look at the history. So its current price is of 10 ETH. And then just keep going down.
He sold it.
Oh shit, he did sell it. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Redbeard had it at one point 2 years ago.
No,
that's one of the highest wizards that's ever sold was an honorary.
Okay, wait. So wait, real quick. You actually have an honorary collection. We're talking so much shit.
But they're
honoraries.
part of the same collection.
Began
didn't get one.
Let me say one thing. You guys keep talking about honoraries, but you're not getting to her question.
So her question,
the difference?
Yes, the difference between honoraries. So
we have to do the foundation.
Secondaries just alludes to the sale, secondary sale. So collections, as they sold in OpenSea, would have a royalty, and that. So when you refer to secondaries, we just refer to the sales of those particular NFTs after the mint. And then they earn secondary fees for the projects, for the artists. That's all it is. So, secondaries and honoraries. Different apples and oranges.
So if you mint an NFT, right, like when it first becomes a thing and created, and then you sell it, the person who buys it, that's secondary. So the second sale, right, or I would say the first sale after it's minted.
I suppose where I'm coming from is like to me,
85, 80.
Honoraries is not something that's massive like outside of the PFP space for the spaces that I kind of run around in. And so when I hear about honoraries, I simply hear what I hear is like a secondary version of a mint that's being made on an individual basis. And so when I'm hearing that, I'm hearing, so what the hell is the difference between that and a secondary sale? And that's not to say that there isn't one, but functionally, I want to know what justifies the value of these honoraries being like.
Because people trade on.
It's also like
people trade on traits.
One thing is like specifically for apes and for this collection like that we're talking about, they're in separate collections. So I do think it's important that it doesn't contribute to like that volume on the big collection and understanding that. But it's just
this makes sense.
No, it's made by the same thing. It's in a separate collection. But I also just hot take, like if you're gonna use someone's likeness, and I know I always talk about permissionlessness, but like also consent, right? Like talk to them first. Like I don't know. I feel like it's
Jen, no one's going to respond to you in the DM saying, "Hi, I want to make an honorary."
until
They
it's
won't
worth money.
respond.
Right? We've seen that.
Wait,
Until
do
it's
they
worth
get
money.
royalties?
But like,
No,
they
there's
should
no-
honestly pay people for the likeness. If you're using them for their marketing, I'm gonna respect you more if you pay them for their likeness. That's how shit works. That's like
Okay,
a respectful way.
in the corner.
Yeah, so again, my take on all this too with honoraries, I think if you use it in a way outside of the NFT community. So I was with OniForce, and we used honoraries like Steve Aoki, Juju Smith.
Upstairs, shut up.
Israel Adesanya with the UFC, and we brought in an entirely different crowd of people that had no idea about Web3. But then they say, all right, why does Izzy have this anime PFP? Why does Steve Aoki have this anime PFP? And then like Steve Aoki saying, hey, we're gonna put some of your anime NFTs on the back of some of my shows while we're performing. Cool. Yeah, and then like, so things like that, it's just another way to bridge the gap between the real world and Web3. So I think there's...
I don't think that's true. I don't think that famous people brought in new NFT people. I think it just was like a buy signal for the people that were already in the space. Honestly, just because the barrier to entry was so difficult back then, that I don't think a normal person, like my sister was like, oh, like Steve Aoki bought some shit. Like, let me go figure out a MetaMask and like spend a fucking day spending way too much money on
I think there was a mix of both. You had like Lil Baby, you had like Eminem, all these people, Justin Bieber, like for sure. I definitely know, like seeing on like TikTok and like Instagram, like a lot of people. I know, okay, the internal community. I was part of like, you know, the 100 people to make Bored Ape Yacht Club pop off. Like, you know, it was
Flex.
like really, yeah. You know, it's a little bit of flex, but it's true. It's like, you know, Jen, like people like JR, like everybody in that like community that was like doing their thing, but it was. That still helped, like the celebrities and people like coming, but yeah, they definitely were like the buying.
Yeah,
you know,
like
they like bought our bags, which is hey.
I've had homies hit me
exchange of
up when
wealth.
like some celebrity that, cause like, oh, he's in NFTs. I've heard him say NFTs before. And like someone like a celebrity they really like drops an NFT. They're like, hey, like how do you like actually? Like I have like a couple people do this. Ask how, cause they're like, oh, maybe it gets me closer to them, especially if you're a super fan. It's like, well, if they're repping this and like it's a purchase, they have like, oh, on the site it says you get all these utilities if you buy it. Like I've had some people.
So I will say, I got an NFT through a celebrity.
Like you bought it because of the celebrity?
I got an NFT because of a celebrity.
It was me.
Franelations. He's a celebrity.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's a
Who's
collector.
that?
I was collecting
Franelations?
sneakers.
Yeah,
I was
he's
into
a
all the
sneaker
shit he collected.
Franelations.
He started talking about
He's a big
NFTs. I
sneaker.
said, I want to dive
It's
deeper.
like it's that niche
and then
celebrity.
before, I was before Apes minted. He was buying random ass shit. Right, but he was a dude. I was like, dude, we collect a lot of the same stuff, toys and shoes and stuff. And he's like, digital stuff. And I was like, let me see. You're not a dummy who collects random stuff. You're a interested, passionate person. So
Also,
we got
like FaZe Banks too. Like I've had like.
If you don't follow Franelations, you need to follow him.
he's an OG legend.
It's at Franelations. Bring him up.
Get him up. Get him up there, Roosevelt.
Before
Yeah.
we get too far away from it, I just had to say I've known about crypto and been involved to an extent for about maybe
2016.
FRAN.
2012 actually. Thank you. But
2012.
okay, that's fair. But I mobilized my like participation in the NFT space off the strength of a clubhouse of a drop from Steve Aoki. So I
So you were wrong.
I was gonna say though is,
not you. I'm not passing you.
I am an
more.
exception. It's not to say that you just shit the bed, but I am an exception.
even my normie friends, like my Web2 friends, they know that Steve Aoki's a top signal. So I do think that's funny.
Yeah. Okay.
He'll do anything
can go
for
both ways.
$50,000, by the way.
For a quick 50.
He's like the Snoop Dogg of 2024.
One last thing is that like we can't conflate visibility. We can't conflate visibility towards onboarding. Like it's good. I'd rather people talk about us negatively than not talk about us at all.
All marketing is good
So
marketing.
yeah, so like I do think that not all PR,
All
press
press-
is good
all press
press,
is
but
good
like
press, my bad.
but like celebrities brought visibility. They got people talking about us. Even if it was negative, it's still better than no one knowing anything about us. But it didn't lead to any onboarding. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, for me, I think like as someone who I'm super old, as you can tell. As someone who worked with like you're definitely old.
How are you still awake at this hour? Keep going.
Fuck you. But I worked with like the first generation of digital influencers. So like when YouTube became a platform for people who could like build a business, right? Like PewDiePie and all that stuff, right? And so I think this idea that This idea, I kind of lost my train of thought.
All right, I'll just flex.
It was
with
amazing.
I will say, we embarrassed that he actually did build. If you guys don't know about Maker Studio, look it up. It's the wildest story of all fucking time. Like, dude, people didn't make money on YouTube
early on.
before. It was wild. Okay, so we are watching some other people come into some different genres here. Maybe we'll flip it up a little bit. So if you guys haven't seen, big tweet came out today. Everyone's favorite. I mean, he's the Santa Claus of NFTs right now. Jack Butcher says, hey guys, you know Ordinals? Guess what? Already inscribed some at 20K. Butoshi, where are we at right now?
We're at 53 million.
53 million! And he did it at 20K.
I saw those when they were getting inscribed because it was still a race. Like everyone's looking, oh fuck, what's like the sub? Like what's gonna be the sub 100K? And we saw the checks. We're like, Jackson.
Is that like April?
It was.
Is that like April?
No, dude, it was like March. It was like late February, March.
March. Okay, we're back to this is exactly how ETH was. Like, no, bro.
Oh, it was March.
It's a June 20. Okay.
So we're like in dog years now, right? Because it happened in 30 days. It's actually 10 years ago.
Totally. So a couple things are interesting about this. So first is that the fact that Jack, he wins again. He inscribed early and did nothing. He inscribed at 20K, waited till it was 53 million, says, I got something for y'all. And he says, if you have a single check, which requires burning 1 trillion checks and it costs so much money, boom, you can get one. He's deciding other people to give who are community members. But like, this is, in my mind, super interesting because it's showing people who are coming to Ordinals and like, you can't just come in and mint something at the 53 million and be like, it's on Bitcoin. No one cares.
So is checks now an Ordinals PFP project?
Well, no. If you have a single one,
what's happening?
Okay, so check it out. If you have a single check, which means you have to burn like the 256 checks into the 128s, into the 64s, you have to buy 1 million checks, burn them all down to one. A couple people have these single ones. He will give you a version of it that's orange as an ordinal. And there's going to be 250 in all. And he inscribed these way early. He inscribed them in March and waited this entire fucking time and said, oh yeah, ordinals, already inscribed those, and here they are now.
Shadows.
What?
Microphone.
You're also in the one check club. That's his whole thing.
Yeah,
It's literally one check. So if that means anything to you, you're in the one check club status. You're in the cabal.
Does any of this have to do with him changing his profile picture to looking like Thread Guy's colors?
I think so.
But wait a minute. I thought
Ordinal
checks
or
is not a
Bitcoin?
PFP project. Why is it using it as a PFP?
That's an OPEPin.
That's an OPEPin. Wait, what were you saying?
Well, OPEPin, yeah. So OPEPin's not. So this is checks and it's
No, this is checks. So the thing, if you scroll up a little bit right here, he said, okay,
so
great.
checks are a PFP project.
Well, dude, you can do anything as a PFP, right?
No,
okay?
only because checks and OPEPin, or at least OPEPin, is supposed to be not a PFP project.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, no, they claim that they're not a PFP project. That's what I'm saying.
What makes a PFP project?
I don't know.
Someone who's the OG
PFP
project
I would make
person.
that my PFP. On
Well,
the
a
Discord.
PFP is, a profile picture that you're using as your
But
identity.
Yeah.
If I can use anything as a PFP.
Sure, you
it's
can.
a PFP project.
Yes.
If you make things that people use as PFPs, it's a PFP project. There's
Yes.
nothing you can't like. Sorry, Jack Butcher, but you're a PFP if we've used PFPs. Like that's all. Like OPEPin's a PFP project. I don't. Okay. That's a separate debate here, okay? I mean, so what I'm trying to get to, though, is the deeper thing is we're seeing people who are saying, okay, great, if you actually want to do ordinal stuff like Jack Butcher, he's actually, a pretty big deal in the art world.
He's an amazing artist.
He backs up and he says, dude, I planned this in March.
Dude, I respect this so. I saw it when he did it. I was like, oh my god, it's it's validating.
So is
Especially
this?
when you have, like, important artists.
Educate me, because on this end, it's about being sort of like, okay, what were the first? Is that
Inscriptions.
Inscriptions. It's like, so who is the first inscription? Who takes credit for being the first inscription?
Why
Casey
does everyone say they're the first project?
Casey Roederer, who invented the ordinal theory because he wanted to do. So Casey Roederer created ordinal theory and the protocol because he wanted to inscribe his own art, so he built that. But most people say the first inscription was actually sent by Satoshi Nakamoto.
Right, but I guess I saw some tweets about like some arguments about who is its first 10K project.
What was the first 10K
That's
project?
what I saw. There's two people saying it.
Okay.
There's two people
so
saying
there
it.
was, because like 10K is the magic PFP project number on Ethereum. So we brought that to Ordinals.
Real quick, before we go into this,
Before
we go into that, here, why is that the magic number?
I actually don't know.
Because put some respect on Tony, okay?
So
like
sorry.
if you guys don't know.
One thing is that like I love Jack because like the guy like just does a lot of fresh and innovating things, right? This is not fresh and innovating. Like every fucking person is now, I created on this chain, let me drop some ordinals. I think it's more in the execution that could bring something that's fresh. So that is
Case study, yeah, that's
Tony,
right.
right there is the first.
How does that project move
first
from
inscription?
ETH to Bitcoin.
That looks like Chaps Calaveritas. Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, to back it up here, because there are a couple debates going on right now. People are saying, what is the first 10K? Just to back it up, though, CryptoPunks invented the 10K shit. Get over it. We all know that. That's how it went. They minted 10K. No one gave a fuck. That's why they're important. They're important because they invented this shit. Okay? So now, Ordinal MFers are saying, we want to figure out who's the first people. Two things happen. People said, well, just put the punks on ordinals, and maybe that's the first 10K. Some people say that's kind of lame. Punks weren't a derivative. They were original. And so then people start debating, what's the first one? So like, Butoshi, who's first?
So, well, it's like, I don't really think you can say who's first because they're all
no,
first.
you need to say who's first.
No,
there's
Boo, we covered this. BitGod covered it on our show. It's that there's like three or four categories, right?
There's different categories. So like these people are first for like their specific thing. So like
So what's that category?
I'll get to the categories. So like the way that Ordinals works is when you inscribe something, it's numbered chronologically. Like there's no different contracts or collections like it's on Ethereum. It's like whatever's on Ordinals, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It goes on. Like we started at 1, we're at 53 million today. So like people want to say the first 10K is the first 10K inscriptions ever made on Ordinals. Okay. So like the people who were here day one made it, boom, boom, boom. Then Bitcoin punks came out, and the history with these is, hey, we have a bunch of images. If you guys inscribe these yourself, they will be a part of the official collection. First come, first serve. So these guys were technically like the first 10K PFP project, but the problem that Ordinals had with it is it was a punk derivative on Ordinals.
It's not a punk derivative.
It's literally punk. It's literally punks, but people are like, hey, like this is a new like fresh chain. Like we should have new culture, whatever. And then NodeMonkes in the sub 100K, the one like that pissed the entire space off, inscribed the first 10K original art project in the sub 100K. And then OCM also, because I know we have an OCM in here. The CEO inscribed a single inscription of OCM that had like 10,000 monkeys in that singular inscription. So there's like 4 different debates that go on. I was like, I was first. So, like everyone was kind of first in their own way.
ENS was first though, right? Because we did this like 2 years ago.
Exactly.
But go ahead.
That's where the concept came from. I have sub 100K.
Okay. So we have Tony here, which is people. You've heard it the entire time since you've been in this space. People saying this is the new punks. This is the brand new. Hey, this is the punks of Solana. The punks of Blink. Any project. How do you become the quote unquote punks of a new chain? What does that mean?
You get a punk.
You get a punk?
No,
but like we are talking about something esoteric. It
can't be copy pasta.
Yeah, so I never got into Bitcoin punks only because, it's like, okay, well, it's like, they didn't do it where like, okay, you're gonna have the current holder of the punk sort of go in there and, to me it was just like it's just a copy of the punks. It's like, and to me it's like it's also like, well, who led Bitcoin punks? Like who led the project and who profited from it, right? It's like
who was it?
No,
they put up a website and they said,
the intention behind it is what
I mean, somebody made some serious cash off of Bitcoin punk. So who was that? It's like it's the same thing. Like as much as I love the NodeMonkes, like, well, who's behind the project? Like who's the artist behind the project, and who are the individuals that essentially are going to profit from the 10, 13 million.
But Tony, when did you meet Matt and John? When did you first know who Matt and John were?
So, but I didn't need to meet Matt and John because it was a free claim.
They were first.
Okay.
It was a free claim.
Okay,
so,
free claim.
So, yeah, so, and I've never actually met Matt and John. I think, I don't know that I've ever actually, and it's funny because when...
I'll introduce you.
Yeah. I'm not part of the cabal, remember?
Okay.
And there's a controversy even with punks because like punks, you have essentially punks were claimed, and then they had a bug in the contract, and the bug in the contract was that when you went to sell a punk in the early days, very first days when you went to sell a punk, you could sell the punk, but the buyer who bought the punk got to keep the ETH. So they got the punk and they still kept their ETH, right?
It was great back then.
So then that caused essentially a version 2 contract, and so since this was early days, what they needed to do is they needed to just basically unwind the contract, just close the contract and do another one, which is version 2, and then they just airdropped the version 2 CryptoPunks on all the people who claimed. So all the claimers suddenly had, if you looked on the blockchain, you suddenly had like these 2 tokens, right? I looked at them for a long time. Mind you, these early days. I'm like, I don't understand
So
why
you
I
have
have
V1
these.
punks that you were dropped.
They were
You had no. He claimed that V1.
All my punks that I ever claimed, all 104 that I claimed, were
Light
basically
flex.
Were
Light flex. I'm sorry.
We're basically V1 punks, right?
Okay.
I claim V1 punks. And as a matter of fact, when it wasn't until later on that somebody developed the contract to basically be able to wrap them, because both regular punks and whether the V1 or V2 punks are not NFTs, they precede the ERC20 token. So basically that means that you can't readily trade them on OpenSea or any of the marketplaces unless they're wrapped, right? And that's the reason why the CryptoPunks website has only the marketplace for the CryptoPunks. You can't sell them anywhere else unless they're wrapped, right?
Yep.
And so for me, this is all fascinating because like Micah said, this is all freaking on the blockchain. It's like you can tell who was first. You could tell who was the first person who claimed a CryptoPunk because it's on the site. If you actually, for all you geeks, because I love doing this, if you go to Etherscan and you just punch in CryptoPunks, you'll see 3 different smart contracts for CryptoPunks. If you go to Etherscan, it'll just show up, and you can actually go in there and you can see like everybody who claimed. You can see who. If you guys don't know them, these are some really amazing people. You got Stray Bits, who famously claimed 7 of the 9 aliens. 7 of the 9 aliens and a bunch of apes, apes on CryptoPunks. You have Beauty and the Punk, female, awesome. She has a couple of apes, who went in, and I have mad respect for these people because like myself and like Wilcox famously claimed 1,000 plus CryptoPunks.
He claimed 1,005. Still has 213.
So he actually has 10 times what I have. And the reason why he has
guy.
it is because I was dumb enough to think that I had to clear every transaction instead of stacking them. So I kept waiting 3 minutes for the damn transaction to go by and then claim another one. So I, then I had to go to the restroom, and so that interrupted that, right? So, but
when you gotta go,
you gotta go, and then I had to eat too,
You don't have to go, okay, guys. Piss yourself. Claim punks. Sorry,
but I'm digressing because what I'm trying to get at is that's the beauty of blockchain, right? So I once again, I love the fact that ordinals exist. I'm not fudding or fading at all ordinals. I love art, and the more people we get into the space, awesome. If you want to collect Mad Lads and fucking pudgy penguins, all the power to you.
Wait, can I ask you a question? As like an OG, like I minted. How did you feel when Yuga Labs acquired Lava Labs?
I thought it sucked.
It sucked?
I thought it sucked. My opinion of Yuga Labs is I wish them all the success. I fear that that they've demonstrated in the past that I fear that they're not executing at the level that I would like to have them execute, or the community would like to have them execute. I have mad respect for Dan Alegre and everybody else. But look, this is a tough space. I mean, it's not just you guys. Look
Kevin Rose.
Look at Proof. Look at Kevin Rose. I'm a Proof pass holder. I mean, I still have round tripped my pass. Look, I like some of the
I'm
team,
into day one. Keep going.
There you go. And mind you, I think that we have to think that Web3 is not immune to all the look, there's plenty of companies that go on the internet, start up and fucking fail, Why should we think that every one of our projects that we just happen to hold an NFT is somehow freaking supposed to succeed? And then it doesn't, we're not, we try to be like NFT holders, like an activist stockholder, and we're not. We just hold the freaking bag, and there's nothing that you can do about it.
I'm in the Discord complaining every day, Tony. I'm doing shit.
You should. I think you should. And mind you, I mean, some projects have taken the right road, which is like, Pudgy Penguin selling, like people. One of the things that I just had a call, share with you guys. I had a call with Pablo Stanley of Robotos, and I remember when Pablo Stanley first was launching Robotos, I reached out to him mostly because he's Mexican. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, there's another Mexican in the freaking space, and like, let's do it. So I messaged him, and I'm like, hey, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, and so he talked to me, and I said, why are you doing this project? And he says, honestly, I'm FOMOing into because every other artist is doing a mint, and so I want to do a mint. And I said, okay. I said, if you guys aren't familiar with Pablo Stanley and Robotos, he's an amazing artist, amazing illustrator, And I said to him, here's the problem that you're going to have, dude, is that you're going to mint out and you're going to have fucking wild success.
And you're going to collapse under the pressure.
And you're going to have the biggest
I said,
assholes.
what's going to happen?
When's the moon? When's the moon? When's
What's going to
utility?
happen? What comes next? I said, because every founder of a business, anybody, all you guys, it's like, ask yourself, what comes next? Because be careful what you ask for.
That's right.
Well, Pablo jumped in the space only because someone was stealing his art and
Exactly.
selling it already.
That's a really good point. Really important.
He already had someone was stealing his project. They had an NFT out, and so he dropped his own, and everyone was pissed at him because they had bags in the other project. So him being the real founder pissed everyone off because they're like, no. This is the real one. I bought it. I promise you. The floor is 10x. So it was crazy because he almost forcibly pushed into the space as an artist because he already saw his stuff.
That's a good point.
I also think that Pablo Stanley, like while we're talking about this, and this is stuff that doesn't get enough attention, right? But he has built so many useful tools for this community, right?
Yes.
Like in the time, so if he had probably focused on only pumping his own stuff, then it probably would have done differently. And maybe this is when you hire people, but hindsight is 2020. But at the same time, this was a time where there was no code tools, right? And where all of them were like really ugly, and he's about design and giving people this power. So he built amazing tools. And I think a lot of the communication, everything gets lost. But at the end of the day, right? One, like morals and values don't make you money always here. But I think like stuff that he's done is so important. And I wanted to bring that up.
Most artists leave us though. Think of Gabe Weiss. Everyone's here for a minute, and then we don't see him for
gone?
Gabe's here.
Gabe's
What?
here?
Where?
Gabe is here.
Gabe's
Where?
He doesn't live in LA.
I'm just saying.
He was in Miami.
Okay, hold on.
We like Gabe.
I own a PFP. What's happening? What's happening?
Have you been in the Discord? Gabe's pretty active.
Let me
yeah.
know.
Is it Gabe?
First of all, I was
is it Gabe wise, or is he saying it's gay to be wise or something like that?
I will say Josh's secret phrase. I'm just saying, okay. Every type of club. So I think the deeper topic here, which we're kind of going through, is we have OGs, we have new people super excited about stuff here. It's like what actually lasts. If you look when apes came out, a lot of people said, "Yo, these are derivative." A lot of the ape traits were derivative, right? They're based off CryptoPunks. However, then 6 months later, everyone would do a ape derivative. They go, "Oh my God, you ripped off apes!" Like, no, you ripped off CryptoPunks who ripped off apes, and you just forget. Now we're moving into Ordinals land, and we don't know like who is going to be the new leaders of this world. Some people are saying, "Here's the old path. I'm going to do that." Some people are saying that here's the new one. It's 2024. I don't have any clue where it's going to go.
That's why the Ordinal space is so fun because like it's so new that everyone's actions matter. Like no matter who you are.
So shout out to Big God because he was walking me through ordinals, and I mean the only thing about ordinals that when I started looking at it is like, I mean the experience of seeing art on, so you got Ordi, or is it what's the websites that you
Or.io.
Or.io, and then you have Magic Eden, and I'm sorry, but the experience of looking at ordinal art right now is like not there. It's just like. It's like
It's commoditized.
No, it's for buying.
There's probably 60,000 important kind of intended pieces out of the 53 million.
I'm sorry, and I hate to say this, but I think Go West made a tweet today about it. It just, and I agree with it. It's just right now early, and it's fine. It's early. It just feels a little soulless in terms of the art. So.
And I actually think there's like another thing, right? Like the experience of looking at it. When you come from ETH, like you know exactly how to look at Etherscan, and like you can see when volume picks up and everything, and it's not as fast in Bitcoin. And I almost think that's good for culture.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's, this is so early. Like this is still pre where we were like January 2021, which was when a lot of people came in. And just as someone who's been like on the ground in what's being built, like there's so much infrastructure being built in real time that is needed before all of these experiences. And I think that's special. But while I agree with you that like the experience of, buying things on Bitcoin, like I get frustrated too, because we're used to something. Mm-hmm. But I think that some of the things that are differentiators are actually positive in the long run.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
no,
so like,
I don't disagree.
Mika, you've been around this whole time here. You've watched the whole ETH from the mint of Bored Apes all the way through a million metas here. You're watching Ordinals too. What do you think's going to be like a repeat subject from before? You go, yes, we're going to run back that ETH topic, be good, or what's going to be new that actually works?
what's gonna be if I had the answer? Like,
No, you got it in your head. You got it.
no, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. That's the whole beauty about this space. Like, I don't know what's gonna be next. That's like emerging tech. Like, it's up to you, everybody here. Like, I want to see like this year, 2024, like the people that I've known from this whole time, like people like a Jen or people like that are sitting in the front right now, people in the back, Jared, what's up? Like, I want to see everybody that has been here, been watching, like keep building and like see, I don't know, what the new flavor is. Like, on board, tell your friends, like see what's gonna happen. I don't know. I really don't know what's gonna happen next for Ordinals. But I do think that
not
like
even Ordinals. I mean the whole space.
Bitcoin.
Even
the
though
whole
the whole
space.
like you I'm saying Ordinals are repeating ETH narratives.
So I have
whole space.
before I forget, because I'll forget. How does everybody feel? And for Micah, Jen, and some of the females in the room.
Micah is crazy. Micah goes
Mika.
crazy.
Micah.
No, but we don't know, but it's provocative.
So Mika.
Coming from Tommy.
So I'm curious about so on January 1st we had the Mickey Mouse who the Steamboat Willie. So here's my question. There's a Steamboat Willie, there's a Willie token, there's a mini token, there's a bunch of art that was made of Steamboat Willie and the Mickey Mouse version of that, but yet there was nothing on Minnie who was also, and it's like, as females, what's your take on it? Because I'm like,
Not
wait.
don't.
Yeah, let's not put us, because we're all just people in this space, right? First of all,
From the take of Minnie Mouse goes crazy.
We don't do the women in Web3 thing. We're just badass humans in Web3. Also, like, as a dildo artist, it would have been really great.
Okay, everyone, bingo, check that off the card. As a dildo artist,
Willie sculpture is something that I was like, oh, this is so obvious, right? This pun makes sense. But at the same time, you didn't need it to be in like public domain to mint it on the blockchain. So I think it's funny that people waited. Also, Disney had already minted it, but this goes to show like what makes you money here. Like, the dumber it is, the more you should ape if you want to make money.
That's actual alpha, bro. Like, I thought plays
but
too
why
much.
Why is that alpha, though?
Dude,
why
because
is that
it's
alpha?
I just don't know. It's
I know it's alpha, but I'm like trying to get why though?
Because
why? And it's been the alpha since the beginning.
And here's the thing.
No, wait. I'll tell you something though. At the beginning, when I saw the apes, I was so pissed because at the time, I was so pissed. Right, we were all pissed.
Everyone was making ape sounds on Clubhouse, but then it became fun.
No, but I was pissed
night.
because of the one of one artists. Like, at the time, one of one artists. Like, everyone was making art, and I was like, why are people buying these stupid like apes? Like, they're JPEGs of monkeys for like $1,000. Like, what is going on? Why are people buying it? And then what made it great, which could kind of tie into the whole Mickey Steamboat like thing, is why I bought it was actually JR, who's in this room. Shout out to JR. Okay, he was making one of ones of his Bored Apes. Okay, he was making like Mona Lisa ape, making all these different apes, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. So what got me in was the IP. So the IP, being able to kind of like make my own version and sell that, got me into apes. And now it's like, I know there's this whole conversation about like that it being like public domain and like all of that stuff. And I don't know, kind of got lost in the sauce. Like, now people are like, oh, IP doesn't matter unless the project matters, or like, who wants to create with this?
I think, just like really quickly, right? It's like, do you care for provenance of the IP? Because I think that's part of having the apes, right? And I totally agree. And it's the most brilliant thing, like from a marketing standpoint, right? The only people in the space at the time were artists. And then we could all come together and create these stories and put our own artistic spin on the apes, right? And it was fun. It stopped like the shill rooms and like it was in a boring space in the space, right? And apes happened at a perfect time. So I think that's cool. But like, I think what we're missing when we talk about like, oh, what's next? And you hit on it perfectly, where it's like, we can't predict it. The thing that changes the game, right? And something I go back to, it's like, okay, why is this the alpha? Because a lot of people are here for money. But like, I know personally, I'm here for like all of the problems that blockchain technology actually solves, which is why early on with Ordinals, I was like, this is so cool. This is a way to interact with Bitcoin that we've never had before. And like, this makes sense. But I think that people, like, everyone is gonna have their own reasons for being here and their own values, and the beauty of decentralization is choice. And I think eventually it will fade, but like, right now,
choice will fade?
No.
Oh, okay.
Eventually, like the
No free will.
the trend of like no. hope everyone continues to make choices with their own brains. But a lot of stuff right now too. The other thing is like, it's not all humans trading, right? A lot of people have bots. When there's a certain amount of volume, it's just buying. And so then that goes on top of each other.
No,
so
there's
like,
1 million people buying puppets yesterday. It was
there
1
are
million
10
of us
people in Web3
refreshing on Bitcoin.
They're all
It
in
was
this
1
room.
million.
And one bot got 4,000.
Wait, everyone says there's 10 people in Web3, but then how did like all of like how are these things? Then everyone's selling out. Like all of this.
No,
is
there's
pumping
definitely
to
not
Valhalla.
10-3.
There's at least 10,000.
There's just a lot of
10
people
is
don't
Web3
speak.
math.
There's
Wait,
more than 10 people
hold on,
here.
hold on. Can I just going into 2024? Can I just say what grinds my gears? When people say, I'm just gonna say it. What grinds my gears is when we say the Solana MS, the ETH. If I hear, I don't even have Ethereum anymore. Okay, if I hear that I'm an ETH MFer,
Bars.
I'm done.
What do we call you? Are you a cross-chain MFer?
But why is
You're
it
what?
like
Layer
what
zero
is-
MFer? What do I call you?
Why
I'm
is
an
the
MFer.
label like
Crypto.
the label?
why can't we all just be people that quite honestly...
Whoa, is that honestly the people up top look like the Illuminati?
They are.
Respectfully.
It's scary up there.
Respectfully, you look like the Illuminati.
We're all in Web
That's
2.5. Hopefully we all make it to
All
Web
right,
3.
Bucket real quick.
Someone said it stinks in here. Who farted?
They're in the
By
back.
the way, everyone in the back, like, are there chairs for these?
We
amazing
ran
things?
out of chairs, but guess what? We're
Sold out the
Don't
crowd.
worry.
I mean-
Don't worry. We're gonna party soon. Here you go.
Okay,
Buckets.
so to bring back the Steamboat, so yes, people could have minted this beforehand, and there was on VV you could have bought them if you really give a fuck about them, but no one gives a fuck about VV, respectfully. But the reason is this: stupid things do work. Now, the reason why this worked specifically, because like this was like the turning point. Okay, now it's public domain. Now we're gonna mint it, even though you could have minted it before. But it's using that narrative to push it across. No one fucking reads.
Yeah.
No one knows that you could have done this beforehand. Sure. But because it was in the news cycle that it's public domain, you're like, holy shit, it's public domain. Now we can buy it. People don't actually know the technicalities of everything. So when you generalize it enough for people, the more general it is, the more people actually fuck with it. So it's not necessarily about the stupidest thing sells. It's the thing that the general public, from just like, we all read news headlines, but no one actually reads the news article. So if you sell something, if you push something to market that is literally the news headline instead of what it says on paragraph 5, you will have more.
Write the headline better, okay? Like, just
Exactly.
make the headline. Okay, sorry.
I struggle with mediocrity being the valuation system of like most spaces, especially financially and within the news cycle. I'm not denouncing it altogether. I feel like it, quote unquote, not being the best kind of creates a liquidity and a neutrality for people to sort of not necessarily project their own sense of self or their values on, but for people maybe to use as a representative symbol of themselves and their values. Because when something is, not necessarily quote unquote excellent, it gives way for that generalization to kind of occur, which encourages consumption. And I understand that, but as a creator, sometimes I struggle with that because I find myself having to water myself down to quote unquote dilute myself so that people can kind of incorporate traces of me into their potpourri of identity, as people use culture for. And it's not to say that I'm, again, for or against or denouncing or whatever, but when I hear these things, it can be hard to take it all as like, oh, this is game. This is how I'm supposed to go and do it, because it feels to an extent like a self-betrayal. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, so I'm with you, and this is one of the weird problems. When you talk about stuff in a big generic audience, it always ends up being like, this is how it works, do it like this. And everyone's like, that doesn't apply to me. And it doesn't apply to people individually. I don't think every person, if they're going to be successful, they're going to do something unique. I think that. When we give advice, we say, here's ununique advice, because this is the advice we know that works. Everyone needs to absorb the ununique advice, know the path, and say, what am I different about? And then do the different thing. But it's rough because I'm not going to say to someone like, okay, cool, upper reality, here's your exact thing. I can't give you advice. I can only give, it's a really rough situation. But at the same time, a lot of people need the generic, yo, you got to put yourself out there. You got to do this, you got to do that. It's like we need generic advice, and then you put your unique sauce on top. But it's pretty rough, Nick.
Yeah, people, they don't really care. I mean, I don't think people really care about what's first. If they did, then, the Steamboat Willie that was like put up like right at midnight at the new year would be higher up, but that's at 0.06 ETH. And then there's the one where he's like wearing hats and chains and all that stuff, and that's at 0.1425. So It's really just like memes. It's what are jokes based on what is
You could push
the
that,
current.
that narrative. This one was first.
Yeah,
it has a lower floor.
No,
price.
yeah, it's whatever narrative you can push, and if that's the one that works and that's the one that makes you money, then and people are like, yeah, let's get behind it, then that works. But if it's just like, hey, look, it's Mickey Mouse, and we can do shit to him that we wouldn't be able to do before, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Also,
let's do that.
I totally agree. And one of the crazy things about crypto, and like Jen, to your point, is like the tech. I fucking love the tech. Like the Ordinals tech that presents.
He does.
Like,
It's nerdy.
I mean, like the immutability of the data you upload is fantastic. But it's also like, because crypto and NFTs in general are kind of known as like the degen casino. And like, I feel a lot of dumb things work. Like there is a drop like these nuts on Solana. It was just a bunch of like nut tokens, but the guy made like a new meta protocol on Solana about it. So that like it's just like. It's a casino at the end of the day. There's also a casino.
Dicks are where we all draw the line, but that's a conversation for another day.
I don't draw the line at dicks.
But
Pause.
first of all,
It just doesn't have the
decentralized
same
BD
ring.
and up the system. I'm not going to get us banned. But I do think, like, look, you have to get people involved and meet people where they're at, right? And if it's fun, that's good. I just think, like, I literally go back and I've read every single thing Satoshi ever wrote on message boards, right? And it's like, why was this technology created? It was in reaction to banks. Why are we all so excited for banks to be involved? Why are we praising Visa to get a CryptoPunk? Like, why, right? Because there are problems that I think all of us have that decentralization can solve. And it's like, it is a new world, and that's uncomfortable, and that's scary, and everyone will get there in their own time, but I just don't want that part to go away, right? And I think ordinals by default are very much in that lane, right? And I think there's a lot of things, like ETH NFTs. There's also, who cares how people get in? Who cares what chain? The chain maximalism is dumb. Whatever your gateway drug into this world is, whether it's gambling, whether it's minting your art, whether it's IRL Alpha, like, thank God you're here. Welcome. Have fun. Build out your own lane.
Okay, and with that, if you guys don't know, this is the first show of the year. We have many more shows this year before we end. If you guys don't know, if you're live with us, there's an after party, and we share a lot more alpha when we're not on camera. If you guys didn't know, the way the cabal works is when the cameras go off, you share more secrets. So we're going to do that. But before we end, everyone on stage, starting with Butoshi, what's going on? What do you want to shill? Only you get a shill.
Okay. So I am working on dropping my next collection, the Battalion. I'm heavy. I really believe in AI technology, how AI is going to shape the future. I want people to not be left behind in that future. I want to educate and show people, here's how you could use this like new technology to really like send and benefit yourself and benefit what you're already working on. And it's just like a fun collection that mixes a lot of historical ordinal things, plus like what I'm doing now in AI tech. And yeah, I just mostly want to show like the ordinals chatbot because, oh yeah, the soon. But that's coming up. That's basically my show.
Beautiful, beautiful. Woo. How do we join the Mika Mouse Club? I'm trying to get in so goddamn bad, Mika. Everyone in the chat's talking about it. What's going on? What do we look for?
Actually, everyone in the chat is talking about OD, baby. Okay,
there we go. There we go.
Let's
go.
Chat.
She's got the OD on right now.
She does. She does. Shout out to Max, made the most emotional video today with everybody from the community. Shout out Swan. Shout out everybody in that video. On-chain AR, that's the alpha.
Ooh, that is
we're talking
real
about
alpha.
AI, on-chain augmented reality. If you don't know what augmented reality is and extended reality, you gotta check out OD. You gotta check us out.
Does that one
Talk
have
to
AR?
buckets.
Okay, I will say, on-chain AR, real alpha. I'm being so serious. People
Yeah.
are not collecting it. It's going to be exactly like early ordinals at one point once you figure out what's
It's
happening.
gonna be the
Yeah.
first of its kind. So whenever there's a first of its kind, you guys know what to do.
100%. Tony.
Alpha, thank you.
So we just buy your punks? That's what we do? What
That's
do we
it.
do? What do you got to shill?
Buy
What
my bags.
do we buy? What do
Buy
we
my
do?
bags. I have a bunch of Yetis.
Oh, I'll buy the Yetis. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
They're historical.
Anything else?
I'm working right now on a couple things, but the main thing is I'm working on Obscura DAO. So we're gonna be
Obscura, cool.
So if you're not familiar with Obscura DAO is a NFT photography DAO. Started off as basically a kind of commissioned photographers network. So
Obscura.
Two things. Obscura DAO.
You keep pronouncing it so fancy that
It's-
Rosenbaum doesn't know what to say. The white people call it Obscura.
Yes. Like tomato, right? It's like,
yeah.
So with Obscura, which comes from lens obscura from photography. So any photographers in the room, just hands up.
There we go. We actually have some dank ones.
So
actually,
we haven't announced it, but I can announce it to you guys in here. It's no big secret. We're gonna be doing a photo Friday. a Photo Friday, which is so there's this whole thing with CCO and with Mickey, public domain. We're hoping that Obscura becomes closer to akin to your decentralized images, your Getty of decentralized images, if you will.
Oh, cool.
And so we're going to basically start seeding it with public domain photos by basically offering buying from the community. Every Friday we buy a set of photos. Every Friday
cool.
we buy 10 photos, 0.1 ETH, and so we're going to buy it every Friday, 52 weeks, and we'll have a permanent collection at the end. And there's something really, really exciting that's going to surprise the hell out of everybody that we're going to announce. I'll tease it, but no.
Every Thursday, I'm like, Tony, you look really cute this week.
Yeah,
What's going on? Have you seen my new photo?
So yeah,
I'm sending him everything.
But there's going to be a new website with Obscura. We got a bunch of stuff. But I'm a big passion. Besides CryptoPunks and other NFTs, I'm a big fan of NFT photography, and so shout out to all the amazing photographers. The space is, besides NFTs, one of the biggest drivers last cycle, if you will, was photography. There's so many amazing photographers that have come into the space.
100%. Beautiful, dude. So excited. Tony, you're such a legend. Last but so very unleashed, Bear Snake, the busiest man in Web3. Let's see, you got to list off 12 things you've done this week. Is that what's we?
I was trying to remember all of them.
Yeah, no, it's
while
rough,
everybody
dude.
was
I try and
talking.
keep up, and I cannot.
Okay, a couple things. Our comic book is the first of 10 issues, distributed by Titan Comics. It's in every comic book store across the planet. And there's a $20 scratch-off code for our video game. So there's a big MMO video game. We did a demo back in November. It totally killed. The game's going to be, new build's going to come up probably around March. And then the TV show and film are making very great headway.
The TV show, the film, the others.
And most importantly, I would say, is we have our sub 1K Ordinal collection. We're going to be doing something with...
Slow down. Sub 1K, under 1,000. Before there was 1,000 Ordinals, this motherfucker built a collection. Okay, but keep going. It's ridiculous. Okay, I'll never stop.
I surround myself with very smart people. I'm not that smart. So there's the 10 shadow hats. We're going to be selling or auctioning one of them. And then we have a collection of 666 shadows, which is like a sub collection that we'll be minting next week or the week after. So look out for that.
Beautiful.
Oh, never.
Okay, everyone in the audience, if you don't know, after party, Vibes Go, right on Abercrombie. We're going to walk over there, keep having some fun. Sorry, chat. We're going to have to see you next week. Love you all. Lots of fun topics. We'll see you then. Thank you, everyone.